That silence confused them more than anger ever could. The meeting was supposed to be simple. A family discussion. No lawyers, no shouting. Just us around the old dining table where birthdays used to happen. Instead, it turned into the moment my brother decided to erase me. I was 39 at the time, working as a site supervisor for a construction firm in Phoenix. Practical work. Dust. Schedules. Responsibility. My brother, Aaron, was 2 years younger, smooth, well-spoken, always believed he was meant for bigger things. We'd grown up together, but we hadn't been close for years. Distance doesn't always come from fights. Sometimes it comes from watching someone slowly decide you don't matter. Our father had passed 6 months earlier. Quietly. No dramatic final words. Just a heart that gave out after decades of work. He left behind a small but solid real estate portfolio. Rentals he'd built one by one. Nothing flashy. Just enough to mean security. Aaron called the meeting. I noticed the details before the betrayal even happened. The way he sat at the head of the table. The folders already stacked in front of him. Our mother looking tired, eyes down. I hadn't been asked to prepare anything. That should have told me everything. Aaron cleared his throat and began talking like he was presenting to strangers, not family. He spoke about responsibility. About vision. About how Dad had trusted him more with the big picture. Then he said it. All 11 rentals are mine. Dad and I talked about it years ago. The room went quiet. I waited for someone to laugh. Or question him. Or look at me. No one did. I felt something drop inside my chest, not anger. Not even shock. Just the understanding that this had been planned without me. I asked one question. Calmly. And me? Aaron didn't hesitate. You were never interested in ownership. You like working with your hands. This stuff would have stressed you out. He smiled like he was doing me a favor. That's how betrayal often arrives. Dressed as concern. I looked at my mother. She didn't defend me. She just said, let's not fight. I realized then that my role in this family had already been decided. Reliable. Silent. Convenient. I let Aaron finish. Growing up, I was the one who showed up. When Dad needed help fixing a property, I was there. When a tenant called at midnight, I drove out. Aaron had ideas. I had execution. Somehow, execution never translated into value. After the meeting, I sat in my truck for nearly an hour. Hands on the wheel. Breathing shallow. Replaying every time I'd told myself, it's fine. Family wouldn't do that. I didn't go home right away. I drove to one of the rentals. Parked across the street. Watched the lights inside. Thought about how many weekends I'd spent keeping that place running. The collapse came slowly. Not dramatic. Just a quiet reckoning with the fact that I'd built my identity around being needed, not respected. I sent Aaron a message that night. One sentence. I don't agree, but I won't fight you. He replied almost immediately. Good. This will be easier that way. That line hurt more than the meeting. The confrontation came weeks later, not over property, but over dignity. Aaron called me, frustrated. He needed help. Tenants complaining. Repairs piling up. The work he'd never wanted. You should handle this, he said. You're good at it. I paused. And ownership? I asked. That's different, he replied. This is just work. I felt the old reflex rise, the urge to say yes. To prove my worth. Instead, I said quietly, you took everything. You can carry it. He snapped. Don't be bitter. Dad never trusted you with the big decisions. That was the brutal truth line. Not because it was accurate, but because he believed it. I hung up. That night, I realized I'd been begging for a seat at a table where my absence was preferred. That clarity hurt. But it also freed me. I stopped helping. Politely. Firmly. I focused on my job. Took a promotion that required travel. Built something separate. Not to prove a point. To breathe. Months passed. Aaron struggled. Not publicly. Just enough. He hired managers. Burned through cash. Called me less. One evening, my mother called. Her voice was tight. Aaron says he's overwhelmed. I didn't celebrate that. I didn't feel justice yet. Just sadness. I'm sorry, I said. But I'm not fixing this. A year later, Aaron asked to meet. Coffee shop. Neutral ground. He looked older. Tired. I didn't think it would be this hard, he admitted. Dad always handled things. I nodded. I know. He waited. Maybe for forgiveness. Or help. Instead, I said, I'm not angry anymore. But I'm done being invisible. He nodded slowly. For the first time, not defensively. There was no dramatic reversal. No courtroom. No triumphant ending. Just distance. We're civil now. Careful. Different. What I gained wasn't property. It was self-respect. I learned that silence isn't weakness when it's chosen. Sometimes, letting someone finish talking shows you exactly who they are, and who you no longer need to be. Family betrayal cuts deep because it rewrites your history without asking. But healing doesn't come from reclaiming what was taken. It comes from refusing to keep paying for what never belonged to you. If someone claims everything while looking you in the eye, believe them. And let that be the moment you stop asking for permission to matter. That's when your life finally becomes yours.